Okay then guys, what is going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're inside of Starfield where we have got a load of things being tinkered behind the scenes as the developers are gearing up ready for the next patch. And what could this be? We're going to go over that today. On top of it though, the new Starfield community patch has now addressed a load of the smaller issues that Bethesda couldn't nick in for. So we're going to show you guys a bit of news on that one as well. Some unique approaches towards New Game Plus, and we're also going to talk about something that is completely missing from the game. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, check out our sponsor today. It is Cymax, the nutrition experts providing supplements proven to help fitness, weight loss, shredding and bodybuilding. They were nice enough to send me to an event out last night, so make sure you hit the Instagram link down in the description also and go and check out the posts from that. You may just knock yourself a little freebie. Now with that being said though, let's dive on into today's video. So starting off, we have got the fact that devs are tinkering around behind the scenes with a lot of things revolved around the dev tech. Now there is the main dev tech that was being played around with about 9 hours ago and has been played around with over the last 24 hours quite a lot, but the QA staging main is the one that we're looking at today. This was a more recent one with the green branch word that's been utilized as well, and these are going to probably be some of the more higher end features, the bigger features that we've requested that could be included. Now what could actually come along with that, as well as the general performance updates, which I hope actually bloody work this time round, but some of the bigger features that they are talking about based on a post that they posted up on the 13th of September was this right here. So they've got the brightness and contrast controls, the HDR calibration menu. We've obviously already had the big field of view slider, which is a given to say the least, an eat button for food, ultra wide monitor supports. There's so much stuff that they could be adding into the game that we know that they've already addressed previously in statements from Bethesda. But why even bother with this when the community seem to be doing a better job? New Starfield community patch seeks to address the smaller issues besetting Bethesda's sci-fi RPG. And they're not wrong right here when they state that many hands make light work. Starfield players can now download a free community-created patch on PC that seeks to address a range of minor issues besetting Bethesda's latest RPG, ranging from fixes for incorrect dialogue to skill tweaks and numerous other polishing changes. Now, back in May 2022, Bethesda announced that it was delaying the launch of Starfield in order to ensure that the players received, quote-unquote, the best, most polished version of the game, and this was a good decision, as upon releasing on September 6th earlier this year, players were treated to an expansive RPG that was packed with content and largely free of major bugs and game-breaking issues. However, as is understandable with a game as expansive as Bethesda's latest comic adventure, Starfield still has its fair share of bugs, quirks and graphical glitches, some of which persevere to this day. Thankfully, the developer is now getting a helping hand in its mission to address Starfield's remaining issues in the form of an unofficial patch authorized by a coalition of community modders, whose initial offering seeks to improve the vanilla experience for all players while staying true to Bethesda's vision of the game. Now, the initial mod, which is now available to download through Nexus Mods, includes 32 fixes authored by 9 contributors and had an emphasis on correcting known issues within Starfield rather than adding fresh content. As such, it doesn't include any newly minted quests, characters, items or other community related shenanigans. Through players interested in such would do well to check out the overall listing of favorite mods to date on the Nexus site, which you can see on screen. It's definitely something that you want to go and check out, nexusmods.com. There are so many on that list that you guys can go and play around with. It just seems to be never bloody ending. Now on top of that, a interesting post that's been getting some attention on Starfield's subreddit is that Starfield's unique approach to New Game Plus makes it perfect for any and every kind of DLC. Now this is quite a substantial post and there is quite a lot to read, so as always we'll leave a lot down in the the description so you guys can go and check it out. But this guy right here states the following: I love Starfield and a lot of people didn't, which is okay, but personally it's my game of the year so far. Now after 160 hours, the main thing I wanted, aside from the general quality of life and performance polishing, melee combat additions, and a little quad bike to zoom around planets on, is more of everything. More alien types, more points of interest, more planets, more ship parts, more weapons, more skills in the tree, more depth. You kind of understand where he's getting it from. More of everything. Now with the way that the game is laid out, he was wondering how they would go about adding more of everything without interfering with people's playthroughs. But then obviously it's kind of obvious, New Game Plus, so I'm sure everyone else realized it on day one that they could make large changes, additions to the whole universe or even existing quests, and just have them be a part of the next different universe that Starborn travels to. And they have a lot of space to do that, with House of Varun suddenly has a uniquely styled point of interest, temples dotted around the outskirts of the galaxy and so on and so forth. The way that they can utilize the New Game Plus within the DLC impact is actually ridiculous, and it's done so well. This is something that they could really hone in on, and like I said, the post is a little bit more detail. It's definitely in more detail, so you guys can go and check that out. And so people have commented on this with a load of really interesting added additional points. But something that is not something we can ignore, and it's this right here, and I'm really suffering from this at the moment. It states, am I wrong feeling like wandering is completely missing from the game? I've thoroughly enjoyed most of the game, but as I've gotten further into it, the more and more I feel like I'm missing what my favourite part of Bethesda games, the wandering between point A to point B and getting lost in random buildings, settlements or side missions I find along the way. Everything in this game feels very rigid. Speak to a person A instead of walking to travel, fast travel to the ship, hit the launch button, hit another button to grab jump, land and walk 500 meters on a empty base to a small base. That's the only thing around. Is this a fair critique? Am I missing something? I used to fast travel, sure, but there was far more instances of walking and wandering to find the next POI on a map. Now it's just all loading screens and fast traveling. Late game it becomes redundant and oftentimes like a chore to do anything but the main quest. Now this is an issue, and this is something that I'm suffering from big time. I now just find myself just rinse and cycling through the main mission itself, as everything else seems quite boring and lackluster. For me, the game is dwindling its final thoughts, and it's not really something that I am enjoying overly too much. Not only that, but actually being able to find new missions and stuff is doable. It just means that you guys have to jump into bounties and stuff like that, and even then you're not falling into anything, you're kind of being pushed into a general direction. Just seems to be the way it works. We get those emergency calls while you're in your spaceship in space, and they are the odd few things that come up, but as an overall, don't wander around too much. I just go through the main storyline, and I just go from area to area to area to area and just follow it on through. Some of the faction quests and stuff like that are very cool, but again, the novelty of those wear off really quickly because they are all kind of like the same, and the storyline inside of them aren't overly interesting. And I completely agree with this guy. I think that the wandering mechanic inside of this game has definitely dwindled. For me, inside of Fallout, it was probably the main thing I did. I did more of that than actually playing the missions themselves. But in this game, it's definitely spiking at a bit of an issued rate for me. Let me know what your guys' opinions are down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up, subscribe, post notifications turned on. Thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate your faces, and I'll see you in the clouds.